What's the Statue of Liberty doing right now? Standing there with, what is she doing? She's holding it. She's holding the book, and she's holding the torch. What if it rains really hard today? What is she doing? That Michael Jordan statue. If it snows really bad in Chicago today, what is Michael Jordan still doing? What if a bunch of birds just flew by the Statue of Liberty and just... What is the Statue of Liberty still doing? That's character. Too many people are just caught up in their feelings. If something happens, they just change. Oh no, I don't love this person. That's not character. Character is, this is who I am, no matter what. I've seen, Mr. Gary and I have both seen in each other's lives different things that would derail the average person. But because we were taught to have characters, like, I can't change. This is who I am. I don't care what's going on around here. It may look bad, but this is who I am. That's what you need in marriage. Now, marriage is committing to meet someone else's needs for life. You have to have character to have a successful marriage. And I challenge you to question if you have character. I know it sounds easy. Yeah, I got character. I challenge you. Look at your life. Look at the things that have happened to you, how you've reacted to it. Do you really have character? That's a goal you should set to have. Expectation. That's a quick one. I'll just throw that out there. It's very difficult. And I'm breezing through this because I have a short period of time. But expectation is something you have to get rid of in a successful relationship. And I'm not saying you can't expect your husband or your wife to do the things that are necessary. I'm saying you can't base, again, it's boiling down to just those feelings. You can't expect them to be a certain way. Because what happens when, excuse my language, what happens when the breasts start going down to her knees? You can't expect her to look the same way 50 years from now. Because if you have an expectation, it's safe to say you may be disappointed at some point. If you have disappointment, it may lead to divorce. So you can't expect that. You know, my wife can't expect me to have this six-pack. At some point, you know, maybe, well, I'm gonna do my best, babe, I promise. But my wife is not basing her love on if I have the six-pack or I can fit my suit the same way. So you get rid of expectations if it's a true love. Now, I have a few minutes. I'm gonna go over this. The RAS, reticular activating system. This is really quick. There's something in your brain, you don't have to understand it just yet. There's a portion of your brain called the reticular activating system. And it works like a GPS. Now, everybody's used the GPS before, right? Yes. Now, do you know that there's millions of streets programmed into your GPS? Right? But if you punch in the DoubleTree in North New Jersey, what it's going to do is it's going to focus on getting you to the DoubleTree, right? So what is it really doing? It's ignoring millions of other streets that are not relevant to getting you to where you want to be. So whatever you set in whatever's set in your reticular activating system or your RAS is what your brain is going to allow you to focus on. I'll give you an example. Has anyone ever bought a new car before? Yes. Before you got that car, you didn't see him anywhere. The second you got in the car, you pulled off the lot. Like, woo, I am fly. He got my car. She got my car too. Did everybody just go out and buy the car because you got it? What happens is this. Your eyes catch a lot. Your senses catch a lot. Your brain has to filter. There's so much going on. Your brain has to filter what's important. And that's what your RAS does. So what's important is considered what's in the search engine of your GPS. So before you had that car, it wasn't in your search engine. So I'm going to tell you right now, you saw that car, but when the information got to your brain filtered it off and said, I'm not going to make her aware of that because it's not important to us. That's right. The minute you got your car, it became something in your search engine. So now when you saw it, your brain was like, hold up, that's your car. And now you became aware of it. So one of the things that I stress to you as far as goal setting, question what's in your mental GPS. You want to know what's in your mental GPS? I'll give you a quick pointer. Look at your current life right now. If whether you like it or not, that's probably what's in your search engine. Just look at the results you have in your life right now. See, I tell you, when I had my bad breakup and I took all that time to interview all these people, and that was in my search engine. That's why I'm wealthy when it comes to the area of marriage. Because that was in my search engine. So my brain was looking for anything that was going to be pertaining to making a marriage successful. Does that make sense? Right. So some of you need to change what's in your mental GPS. You want to make $10,000 a month, but in the mental GPS, you still thinking make $1,000 a week. There has to be a shift. So when it comes to relationship, that's one of the things you really want to do is kind of see what, look at your results. Whether you're single or not, just look at your results. There's some things you can change so that your brain will start to focus on what's important. I'll give you another quick example. We were in Dominican Republic. We met a couple. And the guy and the girl, and they found out I was a relationship coach, so here they are just, trying to get free advice, and we on our honeymoon. I'm like, our anniversary. Anyway, so we had a conversation over dinner, and the young lady, they were arguing because the young lady found out about the trip, because the guy basically took her on this Dominican Republic trip as a surprise, but she found out about it because she was looking through his phone. Now, what's in her search engine is that we kind of got to the point. In her search engine was all men cheat. So she literally was looking for things to line up, and basically she saw him look at his phone and shut it down real quick. So in her mind, she's always thinking that all men cheat. So that's what the first thing that came up. So she didn't see anything else. She didn't see the fact that he was trying to book a trip. She didn't see the fact that he was on Travelocity. All she saw was him put the phone away. So in her mind, he must be cheating. And that brings me to the next comment. The next topic. Stop making up stuff. Some of y'all are guilty, you already know it. I gotta breeze through this, so really pay attention to this. We all do this. I'm just gonna try to get you to do it a little bit more efficiently. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Anytime something happens, this is the process. This is how your brain works. An event takes place. You have a self-talk, a conversation in your mind about the event. And we all have a voice in our head that says something. It doesn't happen like you don't sit there and think about it, right? It happens so quick because remember, your brain is on autopilot. You have an emotion, you have a behavior, and you have an outcome. I'll give you an example. I just saw this the other day. I go to a barber every now and then. I cut my own hair. I go to a barber every now and then. And I just looked it up because I was trying to find a time, and I saw a review. And this is what I saw in the review. It said, I walked into the shop, and the 3 barbers saw me come in. I waited at the counter for at least 3 minutes. During the time, no one asked me, can I help you, or anything. After it was clear to me that they did not want me as a customer, I left to find a better barber. Their loss. I read that, but I have been going to this barber for about 5 to 6 years. And it's almost like a culture. You walk in, nobody's going to walk up to you and say, hey, sir, would you like a haircut? Would you like the little shit? Nobody's going to do that. Usually you sit down and you kind of see how many people are ahead of you, and you just wait your turn. There's no hard feelings. The barbers are very personable. But nobody just walks in and just holds your hand. Now this person, that's how they took it. Now I'm going to give you an example. What was the event? The event was the person walked into the barbershop and no one said something to him. That was the event. Now let me help you guys out. That event meant nothing. Us as human beings, the way we are, we give things a meaning. But if you were a fly on the wall, if somebody walked into the barbershop, that didn't mean anything. Human beings have this wonderful gift of being able to give meaning to something. And usually it comes from that self-talk in our brain. So he walked into the shop, no one said anything to him. What do you think his self-talk said to him about that event? They're ignoring me, they're disrespecting me, they don't want my business. That's not what it meant. I know these barbers personally. That's not what they meant. That's the meaning he gave. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Are you following me?
Yes.
So that's the meaning. So if that's the conversation that you're having in your mind, remember this happens instantaneously. This is not something you sit there and think about. So some of you are like, no, I don't think like that. No, it happens instantaneously. Does that make sense? So he had that self-talk. What type of emotion is that going to create? Negative, angry, frustrated, feeling, disrespected. Now, if that's the type of emotion you're going to have, what type of behavior are you going to exhibit? You're probably going to walk out the barbershop, right? And what's the outcome? He had to waste time. He didn't get a haircut that day. All because of what? How you took it. It was the self-talk. It wasn't the event. The event didn't mean anything. I'll give you another example. Again, that gentleman had his phone out, or his laptop out. His girlfriend walked in, and because he's booking a trip for her, he shut it down really quick. Now, in her mind, what does she make that mean? He's cheating. He's talking to some girl. That's the conversation she had in her mind. Now, I'm using a woman as an example, but guys, we all do this in some way. Not necessarily in a negative way, but maybe not in a way that's facilitating you to where you want to be as far as success goes. So that's the self-talk she had. What kind of emotion is that going to create? What kind of emotion is that going to create? Negative. Angry, frustrated, feeling disrespected. What kind of behavior? Obviously, she looked through his phone. That was the behavior. What was the outcome? Kind of ruined his whole surprise. He tried to surprise her with a trip to the Dominican Republic, and here she is looking through his phone thinking he's cheating. So when it comes to if you want to set a real goal, stop for a second. Whatever you feel in emotion, like just the minute you feel frustrated, man, I'm angry, just stop for a second and ask yourself, what did I just make that mean? Because I'm going to tell you right now, there's plenty of things that can happen in a household, and I'm sure married folks can understand. You know, he left the toilet seat up. I done told this boy a million times. I mean, well, first of all, one thing, I understand, y'all just back up like, beep, beep. You can see the toilet seat. That's not a cause for an argument. That is not a cause for an argument. You said, yes, it is. I gotta keep going. So